Good morning from Whistlers. Today I'm visiting 5 different lakes across the Whistler Valley, so come with me.
This here is Whistler Village, and it has a village centre and a village north. And then this up here is the upper village, which is where the Fairmont is. And then there's lots of lakes. There's Green Lake, there's Lost Lake, Nita Lake and Alta Lake and Alpha Lake. And they all kind of surround the village, so I'm going to go exploring and find some of these lakes.
So I rented a bike from the e-bike place downstairs, and then I cycled to Lost Lake, which I think is about 2.5 miles. So the electric bike BMX company that I hired the bike from gave me this map, and they very kindly marked out all the routes for me. So I picked the bike up from here and they mapped out the route to get to all of the lakes. So I went to Lost Lake up here, and then I was gonna go to Green Lake, but I got lost and ended up coming back along here. And then from Lost Lake I cycled to Rainbow Park, which was actually beautiful. It was so nice. It's been like 30 degrees today. I originally had the bike for like 4 hours, but I got to Rainbow Lake and I was having such a nice day, and it was so hot, and I was sunbathing, and I went for like little paddles in the lake, and it was such a nice Alta Lake it goes out onto, and it's such a nice area, and there's like a rec area with like toilets and places to sit and like a really easy way of getting into the lake. And I sat there and I thought, oh god, I don't want to go back in like an hour and a half. I want to just sit here for an hour, and if I like go back, then I'm gonna have to like not see the other lakes if I want to stay here. So I called the e-bike place and said, you know, can I add 2 hours and can I stay here for another 2 hours? And they extended my booking for the whole day, so I could stay out as long as I wanted, basically. I ended up spending over an hour at Rainbow Park because it was so beautiful and it was so hot, and I just like wanted to just paddle in the water because it was really, really nice. So I was there for ages, and then I went from there to Alpha Lake. So there's Alta Lake, and then Nita Lake, and then Alpha Lake. And I went to all 3 lakes. Nita Lake wasn't really anything to write about because it's just where the lodge is. And there's like a private entry onto the lake, but it wasn't like, I didn't even really stop, I just cycled past it. But Alpha Lake had a park, so I sat there for maybe like 20 minutes. Then I went to Rainbow Park, Alta Lake, Nita Lake, Alpha Lake, and then back along Alta Lake all the way out here to Green Lake, and then I came back in via the north. I have been cycling around the Whistler Valley today, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I wanted to visit 5 different lakes today. This is not one of those lakes, this is Meadowview, which is at the top end of my ride. I have been to Lost Lake already, which is a really beautiful lake, reasonably high up and kind of in the north of Whistler. And then I've been to Alta Lake, Nita Lake, and now I'm just heading to Green Lake. From there I cycled, God, I think it was probably about 6 miles to, or 4 miles back to Rainbow Park to see the loo, and then from the Rainbow Park to Green Lake, and there's a couple of viewpoints there, so I did those viewpoints, and then I didn't realise I could still cycle around the lake, so I got off my bike and like parked it, and then I did like a half a mile out and back, so like a mile walk out to like a beach, Fitzsimmons Creek. And then obviously walk back to play music, because it's like bear territory, and if the bears can't hear you and you stumble across them, and they're more likely to attack you, so they tell you to, like, if you're with a person, then to just talk so the bears can hear you, or if you're on your own, to just play music at like a low level so that the bears like know you're there, and black bears will generally hide from you. So I was playing a little bit of music quietly on the trail down to there, because it's like there's signs everywhere saying, you know, you're likely to come across a bear. So I didn't. Green Lake behind me, which might be the most beautiful lake I have ever seen. We are so spoiled for beautiful lakes in Whistler, so this is the final lake that I'm going to see today, and I think I finished on a high. I was trying to make this a second lake that I was coming to, but I took a wrong turn and I ended up at a third lake, but no harm, and I get to end my day at this really beautiful lake. Seaplanes take off and land on this lake, so I stood and watched Harbour Air take off. This is pretty miraculous considering the steep climb the pilots have to do to get out of the lake so they don't hit the mountains. And then from there I cycled back to Whistler. So all in all it was about 17 or 18 miles today, which was a bit further than I thought I was going to in a cycle, but like a really good day. Yeah, I wanted to do that for a really long time. It's been on my bucket list to go and visit all of those lakes. So I'm really glad that I've done that. I can like tick it off, but I just had like one of the nicest days so far on my trip. I enjoyed that so much that if you come to Whistler and you have a day spare, then I definitely recommend like renting an e-bike and just exploring the valley, going to loads of lakes, going swimming, especially if it's hot in the summer, because this is really, really beautiful. And I mean the lakes here kind of rival the glacier lakes at like Peyto Lake and things up in Banff. Probably not the same sort of size as Lake Louise, that's really impressive. But yeah, I mean, you'll see the pictures and the footage. It was one of the best days I think I've had in Canada. I really, really enjoyed that. Goodbye from Whistler.